Have you ever wondered how the education system in the United States came to be what it is today? Well, let's take a journey back in time to the early stages of American education. The seeds of the American education system were sown during the colonial period. The early settlers, primarily from England, brought with them a strong belief in the importance of education, influenced by their religious convictions. Education was seen as a means to read the Bible and understand their faith, leading to the establishment of the first schools. In the mid-17th century, the Massachusetts Bay Colony passed a law requiring towns with 50 or more families to establish a school, marking the advent of compulsory education. Around the same time, higher education began to take shape with the founding of Harvard College in 1636, followed by several other prestigious institutions. As the colonies grew and diversified, so did the approach to education. The South, being agrarian, focused on practical skills and home education, while the North, being more industrial, stressed literacy and arithmetic in schools. The concept of public education, however, didn't materialize until the 19th century. Horace Mann, often hailed as the father of American public education, championed the idea of free, universal education. He believed that education was the great equalizer, a tool to bridge social and economic divides. With Mann's persistent advocacy, the first state to establish free public education was Massachusetts in the year 1852. This revolutionary idea was gradually adopted by other states, paving the way for the public school system we know today. From these humble beginnings, the foundation of the modern American education system was laid. But remember, this was just the start. Over time, the system evolved and adapted, facing numerous challenges and controversies which we'll delve into in the upcoming scenes. So, buckle up for this insightful journey through the annals of American education. As we'll see, it's a story of constant change, ambitious vision, and relentless pursuit of the democratic ideals of equity and opportunity. As the nation grew, so did its education system. A statement that rings true when we trace the evolution of American education from the 19th to the 20th century. The 19th century saw the birth of compulsory education laws. Before this, education was largely a privilege for the wealthy. But with the introduction of these laws, education became a right for all, regardless of social or economic status. This was a monumental step towards equality and opportunity, establishing the foundation of the public education system we see today. As we ventured into the 20th century, another significant development took place: the expansion of secondary education. The early 1900s were marked by a surge in high school enrollments. This was driven by the growing recognition that a basic level of education was not enough to meet the demands of an increasingly complex and industrialized society. High schools became the stepping stones to better job opportunities and upward mobility, changing the face of the American workforce. But the evolution didn't stop at secondary education. The rise of higher education is another milestone worth noting. The mid to late 20th century witnessed a boom in college and university enrollments. Higher education became the new norm, a ticket to a prosperous future. This shift was fueled by various factors, including the GI Bill after World War II, which provided educational benefits to veterans, and the increasing importance of specialized knowledge in a rapidly advancing world. However, it's important to note that this journey was not without its challenges. Issues like racial segregation, gender discrimination, and unequal access to quality education have been persistent hurdles, and yet each obstacle faced has led to reform, dialogue, and steps towards improvement. In conclusion, the evolution of American education is a story of progress and perseverance, marked by significant developments that have shaped the nation's social and economic fabric. These changes set the stage for the education system we know today. A system that continues to evolve, adapt, and strive towards offering quality education for all. Today, the American education system is a complex, multifaceted entity. It's like a vast, intricate puzzle, with each piece representing a different aspect of the learning journey. Let's start from the beginning. Education in America typically begins with preschool or kindergarten and continues through 12th grade. This is commonly referred to as K-12 education, and it's divided into 3 stages: elementary school, middle school, and high school. Each stage is designed to build upon the previous one, equipping students with the foundational skills and knowledge they need to progress. After high school, students have the option to continue their education in higher learning institutions. This includes universities, colleges, and community colleges, which offer a range of programs from undergraduate degrees to doctoral programs. Higher education in the U.S. is renowned globally for its research and innovation. Yet another element of the American education system is vocational education. These programs, often provided by community colleges or technical schools, focus on equipping students with practical skills for specific trades or professions. A key feature of the American education system is its flexibility. Students have the freedom to choose their educational path, whether it's pursuing a liberal arts education, specializing in a particular field, or learning a trade. This flexibility extends to the classroom, where educators often encourage creativity, critical thinking, and individual expression. But it's not just about the classroom. Extracurricular activities, from sports to the arts, play a significant role in American education. They offer students opportunities to explore interests outside the academic curriculum, develop leadership skills, and build a sense of community. Funding for education in the U.S. comes from a mix of federal, state, and local sources, with the majority coming from state and local funds. This funding supports everything from teacher salaries to school infrastructure and resources. In sum, the American education system is a vast and varied landscape, offering students a multitude of paths to learning and growth. Despite its complexities, the American education system provides a wide range of educational opportunities. However, the American education system is not without its challenges. One of the most significant hurdles is the funding disparity. It's an open secret that schools in wealthier districts often have more resources, smaller class sizes, and better facilities than those in poorer areas. This uneven distribution of resources can exacerbate educational inequities, with students in disadvantaged districts often falling behind their peers in more affluent areas. Next, let's talk about the achievement gap. This term refers to the persistent differences in academic performance between different groups of students, particularly those defined by race and socioeconomic status. Despite numerous efforts to close these gaps, they persist, and in some cases are even widening. This is a complex issue with no easy solutions, but it's clear that we must do more to ensure that all students, regardless of their background, have the opportunity to succeed. Finally, we can't talk about challenges in education without discussing standardized testing. It's a hot-button issue, with some arguing that these tests provide a valuable benchmark for assessing student and school performance. Others, however, contend that standardized tests reduce education to a numbers game, putting undue pressure on students and teachers and sidelining critical thinking and creativity in the process. These challenges are not unique to the United States. They are shared by many countries around the world. But what sets the American system apart is the scale and complexity of these issues, given the size and diversity of the country's student population. Addressing these issues requires a deep understanding of their root causes and potential solutions. It also requires a commitment to equity and a willingness to rethink traditional approaches to education. As we will see in the next section, there is much we can learn from other countries that have grappled with similar challenges and have found innovative ways to improve their education systems. How does the American education system stack up against those of other countries? In seeking an answer to this question, we must first consider the diverse range of educational models around the globe. Let's start with Finland, a country often lauded for its achievements in education. Finnish students consistently score high in international assessments, despite having one of the shortest school days and school years in the developed world. The secret sauce? A strong emphasis on equality, well-trained teachers, and a holistic approach to education that values not just academics but also arts, sports, and life skills. Now let's jet over to South Korea, which presents a stark contrast to Finland. Here, students endure long school days and additional hours in private tutoring centers. While this rigorous approach has led to high academic achievement, it also brings significant stress and competition. Meanwhile, up north in Canada, they've found a balance. Canadian students perform well academically, yet the system also places a strong emphasis on the well-being of its students. This is reflected in policies like comprehensive health and wellness programs and an inclusive approach that values diversity. So how does the United States compare? Well, it's a mixed bag. On one hand, the U.S. boasts some of the world's best universities and a culture of innovation. But on the other, it struggles with educational inequality, high dropout rates, and a controversial reliance on standardized testing. Furthermore, while the U.S. spends more per student than most countries, these funds are not evenly distributed, leading to disparities in educational opportunities and outcomes. Unlike Finland, South Korea, and Canada, the US has a decentralized education system, with significant variation in policies and practices across states and districts. In conclusion, while the American education system has its strengths, it also faces significant challenges. By looking at how other countries approach education, we can glean valuable insights into what works and what needs improvement. These comparisons offer valuable insights into the strengths and weaknesses of the American education system. What can the United States learn from the education systems of other countries? When we look beyond our borders, we can gain valuable insights from the educational practices employed in countries like Finland, South Korea, and Canada. These nations, known for their high-performing education systems, have unique approaches that the United States can learn from. Let's start with Finland, a country hailed for its student-centered learning approach. Finnish educators prioritize the development of the whole child, focusing not only on academic achievement, but also on social and emotional growth. They believe in fostering creativity, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. This holistic approach to education could potentially be an interesting model for the United States to consider. Next, we turn to South Korea, a country renowned for its rigorous academic standards. The South Korean education system places a strong emphasis on hard work, discipline, and competition. While this may be a double-edged sword, creating high stress levels among students, it also yields impressive results in terms of student achievement. The United States could perhaps adopt some elements of South Korea's high academic standards, while being mindful of the potential stressors. Lastly, let's look at Canada. Known for its inclusivity, Canada's education system is designed to accommodate and support a diverse student population. They have strong policies and practices in place to ensure that students from different backgrounds and with varying abilities have equal opportunities to succeed. The United States, with its diverse population, could definitely learn from Canada's successful implementation of an inclusive education system. It's important to remember that there's no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to education. Each country has its unique circumstances and challenges. However, by examining and learning from the successes of other countries, the United States can gain valuable insights into potential strategies for enhancing its own education system. Learning from other countries can help the United States improve its own education system. What does the future hold for the American education system? As we gaze into the crystal ball of possibilities, three key developments emerge as potential game changers for American education. First, let's consider the role of technology. As we move further into the digital age, technology's influence on education is undeniable. From virtual reality field trips to AI-driven personalized learning, the classrooms of the future promise to be dynamic and immersive. But technology isn't just about gadgets and gizmos. It's about equipping students with the digital literacy skills they need to navigate an increasingly online world. Next, let's talk about educational equity. While progress has been made, disparities in educational opportunities and outcomes persist along lines of race, income, and geography. The future of American education must involve a concerted, nationwide push to close these gaps. This could mean rethinking school funding mechanisms, investing in teacher training, or expanding access to high-quality early childhood education. Achieving equity isn't just the right thing to do. It's crucial for our nation's future competitiveness. Finally, the future of American education will be shaped by the growing recognition of the need for lifelong learning. In a fast-paced, rapidly changing global economy, learning can't stop at graduation. Whether it's upskilling for a new job, learning a second language, or pursuing a passion in retirement, lifelong learning opportunities will become increasingly important. These potential developments are exciting, but they also present challenges. How do we ensure technology enhances rather than hinders learning? How do we ensure every child, regardless of their background, has access to a high-quality education? How do we create a culture that values lifelong learning? These are the questions that will shape the future of American education. The future of American education is a story that remains to be written. The shape it takes will depend on the choices we make today. So let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. Our children's future depends on it. In conclusion, the American education system is a complex, evolving entity with a rich history and a promising future. From its humble beginnings to its current state, the system has seen significant transformations. These changes have been driven by numerous factors such as societal needs, technological advancements, and policy shifts. Throughout this journey, the system has faced various challenges, including issues related to funding, standardization, and educational equity. However, it's important to note that these challenges are not unique to the United States. They resonate globally, providing us opportunities to learn from different education models around the world. Countries like Finland, South Korea, and Canada have shown us that there are innovative and effective ways to address these issues, offering valuable lessons for the American education system. By understanding its past and present, we can help shape the future of education in the United States.